Hi there, Titans. My name is Paige, and today I'm going to show you how you can create an account and then multiple contacts that are related to that account utilizing the Modal framework and also action flows. So let's get started. The first step I want to do is just create the template for which we will be going through this experience for our end users. The first tab or step, I would like to create an account, and then the second step will be creating all the contacts. And I would like to have a power table that showed all the contacts on that account as well. And then, yeah, that's really all the steps. Maybe the last step may be like complete or something like that. So let's get started. I'm going to start by just adding a stepper container. So here is our stepper. And because I want to create an account on this next button here, I'm actually going to remove the next button by clicking, not hide labels, hide controls, yes. And I'll use my own button to create the account and then create the contacts. So let's start by dropping in some fields to create an account. So we'll do like a company name. Company website. Where's the URL? There it is. And what's a good last one? We'll just need one more. Maybe like company phone number. Now for phone numbers, I like to do this by doing a text field, and I will call it phone number. But I'm going to show you why I choose text fields for my phone numbers. It's because you can use a field mask to mandate that they use numbers and that it goes out in this particular format. So I can also do like this if I want. And you know what, I'll go ahead and just do that because like that looks pretty nice. You can use the field mask to just set the format for numbers. And then if it was A, then that would be letters. So if you have like a certain type of numbers letter combination that you need to have, then you can do it here. And it also makes sure that you don't do more than these amount of digits. Okay, so that is enough for my account to be created, and then I'm gonna just create a button for that. So we'll call this next. I kind of want to make it smaller. Cool. Next. And then step 2. Let's go ahead and name these steps. So this will be create account. This one will be create contacts, and step 3, finish. Okay, so now that we're done with that, create contacts. I'm going to make this bigger, and I'm first going to add a button called add new contacts. Add new contact. And it will trigger us to open a Modal. I'm just trying to find the center here. Okay, add new contact, and this will trigger the opening of a new Modal, and then we're going to have a table of all the contacts that are created. So let me add in my power table, and this is going to be contacts where the account ID, I'm actually going to add a variable so that I'm able to refer to this account ID. So I'm just going to call it account ID, and we're going to retrieve that from the first get on the first slide. So now we can say that we're going to bring back all the contacts where the account ID is equal to the account ID that we just created with that first slide. So that is what we're doing there. And then the mapping, let's do full name, email, and role. Or maybe department. Cool. So those are the 3 fields that I'm going to have on this table that's going to show all of the contacts that are related to this account. Cool. All right. So now we need to create the form where these contacts will be created. So I'm actually going to do this on a separate page. So I'm going to start a new page, and we will be creating this form, but then displaying it as a modal. And don't worry, I'll show you how to do that as well. So let's just start by adding in our fields for this contact. This one will be called first name. And another one for last name. And then we also had email and department. Text field. Actually, department is, I forget if department's a text field or a drop down. So I'm pretty sure it's a text field. Let's just find out. Contacts. Let's just go see a contact and look at this. Department is a text field. Okay, so I will add a text field here. We'll call it department. And this is a cool trick. If you hold shift or command, one of the two, you'll be able to select multiple, and then I can make the spacing all the same. So that looks really nice. And then I'm just going to add a button. And this is going to kind of skipping, not really skipping a step, but I'm putting the pieces, the back end piece on before the front end piece, basically. So the first thing we're going to do is create the contact. So let's go to Salesforce. We'll configure a new push, and this will be creating a contact. So create contact, action will be create, and then the mapping, the account ID is going to come from our parameter. The last name will come from the last name, the first name will come from the first name. And just so you know, these are all the Salesforce fields that are on a contact record in my Salesforce instance. And then over here is where you will map it to the elements on your project. And if you wanted, you can even start with your elements and work backwards. So all of the elements are on this side, and then I can map them to the recipient field in Salesforce. So I have first name, last name. We can also search. So let's do email with email, and then department with department. Perfect. Apply. Close. And so now that we have created that Salesforce action, we can now put it on the button. So we're going to create the contact, and after it's finished, I'm going to close the modal. So page actions, close modal, enable, and I'm also going to set parent parameters. So I'm adding a parameter. Maybe not. But I do need to go back into my Salesforce action and just create a variable for this to map to. So mapping, add variable. add it to the project level, and this will be the contact ID. Apply, close, and this is where I'm going to say that whenever this contact is created, I want to return the record ID to this parameter. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to refresh the table whenever a contact's created. So I'm basically just passing the precedent saying, yes, we created the contact, and therefore I want to refresh the table. So this is closing the Modal, save, and then we can go back to the home page, and I'm going to set a condition that whenever, so we go to custom variables, we can see our two variables here. I'm going to set a condition that if my contact ID is not empty, then I'll call it if contact ID is not empty, then we will refresh the table. So we can go element interactivity, table interactivity. We will say refresh the table, and this is the entire power table that I want to refresh. Let me just rename that. Refresh contact power table. Cool. So now we have that done. Basically, we're just saying that after the contact is created, it passes that new contact ID to this parameter, and when this parameter is filled, aka not empty, then it refreshes the power table. And that will happen every time we create a new contact. It will basically clear out the contact ID and then put a new one in there, and that triggers it to happen again. It's not empty, and then it's going to run it again. Okay, and now we're going to go back and create the account. Let me try to find the center here. That just doesn't look centered to me. I don't know. I guess it's because that, like, I don't know. Anyways, so now we're going to say that on this button, we're creating that account. So we can say interactivity, go here, go to Salesforce action, and this is where we'll create the account. We still have not created our account yet. So we'll create new, create account, call it create account. Mapping will be the account name goes to the company name was what I called it. Website, and what was the last thing I did? Phone number. Company phone number. Cool. Okay, so that is done, and we're going to set it to happen on that button. And whenever the account is created, I want to use the account ID to, I'm going to populate that parameter, and I'm going to use that to run the get of the contacts. So after we're finished with doing that, I want to redirect, oh wait, no, we're not redirect. I want to do a stepper interactivity to go to the next step. So here's my stepper, and then I can just say go to the next step. Insert, apply, save. Okay, so let's talk this through because I know that I've done a lot. Whenever the end user is using this, they will first create an account. When they click this, they'll enter in the account information, then they'll click this button, and when they click this button, first the account is made. Then the account ID, that new account ID, is passed to that parameter that we have on the site. Then we go to the next page. So those 3 actions that happen on that button. Then we come over here, and this table is going to load however many contacts are related to that account. At first it's going to be 0 because this is a brand new account. But when they click this button, it should open up the Modal so that they are able to create a contact. So this is where we do redirect, go to page. We'll choose internal, and then we can choose our page 2. And we're going to open it up in a Modal, which means like a smaller pop-up screen. And we're doing that so it's easy for the end user and they don't feel like they're going to a whole new page to create this contact. So we created this Modal, and we don't need to set parameters because we have our parameters set at the project level, but my Modal width and height is very important. So I'm going to do 1000 by 800, which is pretty large, but I want to make sure that it's large enough that it works. So then we can choose next. I'll call this open Modal, and that's all I need to happen on that button. So this button only opens up the Modal. So now let's pretend like we are opening up that Modal. We come over to page 2. This is brand new, it's blank, and they can enter in the contact information, and then they can hit, this is actually, should be called create contact. Cool. Okay, so then when they click this button, there's 3 things that happen. 1, it creates the contact, and it passes that new contact ID to our contact ID parameter. Then it closes the Modal. And whenever it closes the Modal, and it also passes the parameter, because it's passed that parameter, we now have that action that we set that said whenever the contact ID parameter is not empty, refresh this table. And that's so that we can see the new contact that we just created in that Modal. So once they have done this several times, they can continue to add new contacts, and then it'll refresh the table. And then whenever they're done, they can say that they're all finished. So let's just put a secondary button, which is just a different color, and we'll say finish. Cool. And then the finish one, I'm just going to add in some text that says thank you. Thank you for registering. Oh. Okay, pretty good. Now I will say one thing that I'm a little concerned about is if we will if when we open up that Modal again, if the fields will still be there. So we will just see. I don't think so though, since it's a page Modal. Okay, so let's get started. I hope you're excited. Let's test it together. So first things first, peanut butter and jelly co. Website pbj.com. Company phone number 444-444-444. Do you see that? That format that was created for that? Really nice. Okay, next. Okay, that was not supposed to happen. Let's just redo that. So in here, we'll do, I think because this condition is set for the account ID equals account ID, it's pulled back all of the contacts that don't have an account. So I'm going to do a rule condition. So if I go to Salesforce and get my get, I can do a rule condition, run criteria. It's going to run only when account ID is not empty. Okay, so let's try that again. Okay, so, well, I don't think I can use peanut butter and jelly co, so let's just call it PBJ Co. Company website, pbj.com, phone number 344-533-444. Okay. All right. See, so because the account ID is blank, that rule criteria said, run criteria said, if it's not empty, then run. If it is empty, then don't run. So it didn't run, and that's why it says data not found. Okay. Then we will add a contact. Sorry, I was just thinking. Let's call it Polly Pocket. Polly at pockets.com. Department entertainment. Create contact. There we go. Look at that. And then we can add another one. James Pocket. James at pockets.com. Department food service. Create contact. Look at that. Let's do it one more time. It's just so much fun. Okay. Molly Pocket. Why is this peanut butter and jelly company made of people who, are all in the same family? I don't know. Okay. Email is molly at pockets.com. Department glassware. I don't know. First thing I can think of. Okay. So now we have 3 people added to our contacts, and we can say finish. And next I'm going to show you what was created. Oh, I forgot to put the button. See, there's no action here. So what you have to do here is just say make this go to the next slide. So element interactivity, stepper interactivity, and then next step. That's all that I was missing for that to happen. But all of our contacts were created. Let's go and look. So we'll start by saying Molly Pocket, and you can see Peanut Butter and Jelly Co. is her account. And then when we go to Peanut Butter and Jelly Co., we have all their information, the details, the website, and let's look at the related contacts. We have Polly Pocket, James Pocket, and Molly Pocket all here, and all their information is here as well. So that is how you can use the power table in Modals to create a flow where somebody can create an account and contacts. And of course you can use this concept to build out anything that you want and build out lots of related objects in your web experiences. Thank you for watching this video, and I really hope that it helped.